That's great.
I did it wrong.
Yeah, hold on.
Uh,
Oh, this is
yeah,
bad.
it's too late. It's too late now. We're just gonna roll with it.
Design roll to the left. Now comes back to the right. Waving receivers around. Nobody open. Running out of time. Finally throws. And it is gone! Touchdown, Tyrell Roberts! Taylor. He stopped. Notre Dame wins.
He's going to get 5. Ducks, rush only 3. Wants to have all day. Tries to escape, circles back, still alive. Loses the football, ball comes out. It's scooped up by the Ducks. And Tony Washington streaking to the end zone.
Yet another example of how unprepared we are as a podcast. This is the quality, the lack of quality that you get as you look at my aunt's.
If you guys want amateur hour, you got to come to the right podcast.
Yep. So coming to you live from the basement in Millersville, Maryland. I'm Connor Adolphus. Washington sucks. Doherty. To my left is Ryan. Illinois is winning the Natty Fravel. I'm surprised you put that there, but I mean, obviously, you weren't going to say Indiana because they're your in-state rivals.
No, we don't. We don't care about Indiana.
Is that where you live, Illinois?
Huh?
Is that where you live, Illinois?
Yeah, Illinois. Yeah.
Oh, how close are you? Closer to Chicago or
right now, I'm closer to Champaign, so we're the Fighting Illini are.
Got it. How far is Chicago from you?
Used to be an hour and a half, and now it's like 3.5 hours, 3.5.
Damn. Nice. I've only been to Chicago once, but got to see both the Cubs and a White Sox game because that's on my bucket list is to see a game at every stadium. So that was fun.
We also have the Big Ten. The Big Ten conference headquarters is in Chicago. So.
Oh, of course, makes sense. Surprised they're not in New York with the the Big Ten wanting all that East Coast money with Rutgers and Maryland being part of the conference.
Well, nobody cares about Rutgers football. Not even Rutgers fans care about Rutgers football.
And not many people care about Virginia Tech, care about Maryland football. They care about Maryland basketball a lot. And that's about the only good thing that's come out of is women's basketball has won, I think, every single regular season title since they joined the Big Ten and like almost every single tournament title as well. That's how much better the Maryland women's team is than every other team. And then Maryland lacrosse has been, or men's and girls or women's, been crazy. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about college football. So the reason why I have that dude, Adolphus Washington, he's the guy that hit Michael Brewer in 2015 and broke his collarbone when Virginia Tech was up 17-14 early in the third quarter against Ohio State at home. I feel like if Brewer had stayed in, we might have been able to beat them. I legit believe that.
Was that the year after you guys beat them? The first game of the season? And then
that was the first game of the season. They were at 14-0. We went a 17-0 run in the second quarter. Was up 17-14 at halftime. VT has the ball. We're like, oh, we're gonna go. Everyone's super loud and everything. We think we're gonna drive down the field and get a touchdown and put the game and put more pressure on them. He literally gets hit, and either I'm not sure if it was on the hit or being driven into the ground, but he broke his collarbone. And from there, the only thing that anyone ever remembers is Braxton Miller's spin cycle touchdown.
Oh yeah, was that one the first year he turned into a wide receiver from a quarterback?
I think that was the first year. Yeah, it's I think it was a jet sweep to the Virginia Tech side. Literally just made a linebacker go flying into the out of the screen pretty much.
I've seen that highlight so many times.
Yeah, but it was crazy. Zeke had a 80-yard touchdown run to put them up 14-0, and then VT just kind of their defense was flying around in the second quarter. But I just remember being in the stands, and the stands in the north end zone where all the students stand was so packed that I couldn't stand on the seats, but I was tall enough that I was standing in between them. You know what I mean? Just like where you would normally put your feet if you were sitting. And so during Enter Sandman, I'm jumping, right? And the back of my calves kept hitting the underside of the seats. And I literally had bruises about that long in the backside of my calves when I got home. They didn't hurt, but I didn't even notice them until I got home. So that was fun. It was also Memorial Day, so we didn't have any school that day, and some people, there was a rumor going around that VT had won. We wouldn't have had school the next day as well that Tuesday. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it sucked. I don't know what could have been, but I don't know. I would like to see VT play them again, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, obviously that was a series that had been agreed upon probably back in like the early to like the mid to late 2000s. So when VT was still at their height, so it would have been a lot bigger of a game. So what bothers me is actually VT was actually supposed to play in 2020. Was supposed to originally play Michigan and Wisconsin in 2020, but then Michigan got cold feet and backed out. And paid like a $1 million penalty to back out. But he was still going to play. No, it was Penn State. I think. Wisconsin. We've been trying to get an agreement to play Wisconsin for like the longest time, and they just couldn't figure it out. I think the agreement is now in like literally like the 2030s is the agreed upon like home and home.
Well, Michigan tends to back out of a lot of things, but
yeah, it was gonna be Michigan. It was gonna be Michigan and Penn State. I think was the two that they were gonna play against. And
I literally just got in an argument with a Michigan fan like about a week ago, who tried saying that Notre Dame was the one that chickened out of the rivalry and I had to like remind him because he's like, well, when last time we played you guys, we beat you guys at home and we played the chicken dance song. I said, no, you've got your facts wrong. The last time Notre Dame played Michigan, before they quote-unquote ended the rivalry, was in 2014 when they had Shoelace, and we beat them 38-0, and then we played the chicken dance song right after that because they didn't want to play us until, I think, what was it, 2020? Or
was that the game you beat Denard Robinson when he was wearing number 98 or something?
Yeah.
Which is still the weirdest thing ever.
He threw like 2 interceptions, and then he threw another one that was a pick six right at the end of the game.
Yeah. Okay. Enough reminiscing and hating on. Well, I mean, we're gonna hate on them more anyway. But today we're gonna be talking about the Big Ten. We had another topic that we could have talked about that I showed you about what's the best logos for the teams and stuff. We can do that another day, I guess, when we're done with conferences and we have nothing else to talk about up until conference realignment when we plan to do that. But so we're just gonna get into the Big Ten predictions. It's just gonna be me and Ryan. Lucas again leaving us hanging. I'm very self-conscious because there's a bunch of people upstairs and I keep thinking I'm talking loud enough that they can hear me, and I feel like they're just like, shh. Let's hear Connor sound stupid.
Podcast. It's for the boys. At least we didn't leave each other hanging for our women, like Lucas does a lot of times. Lucas, it's bros before hoes, and you know this. And then your wife or your fiance comes in the picture and just slaps the back of your head because she overheard you saying that, and she's like, "Oh,
God. It's just like DiNozzo from NCI is just getting smacked upside the back of the head by Gibbs." Yeah. She's like, "What are you talking about? Don't say stupid shit like that." Okay, so conference predictions. Well, this is gonna be kind of I think we can go however we want. I think the immediate thing we should just immediately do, I think, is what we can agree upon is actually there's going to be, surprisingly, there might be 3 teams that could arguably compete for worst team. Well, okay, last year it was Indiana. They were 2-10 and had no wins in conference. that was in the East Division, and then in the West it was Northwestern at 3-9. Rutgers was 2-7 and finished 5-8. They did
Well,
better than
technically,
usual.
Nebraska and Northwestern tied for last place in the West.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying I'm drinking the Northwestern or the Nebraska Kool-Aid, but I'm giving them at least one more shot with Scott Frost.
Frost, that's it.
I wanted to say Nick Frost. I don't know why I want to say that, but I don't know.
So who do you think? I mean, if you just look at this,
okay, let's take a gander at Rutgers' schedule. Let's just take a gander. Okay, so they open
Northwestern.
Here, I'll share my screen. Oops. Tab. There we go. Can you see this?
Yep.
Cool. So this is Rutgers' schedule. So they have Boston College they're at Boston College. That's probably a
and they're
loss.
playing the mighty Wagner Seahawks.
I mean, Bobby Wagner has a team named after him. Nice.
The Fighting Bobby Wagners, and they're going to come in to play Rutgers. Peed off because he got cut.
And they play at Temple. They get Iowa State, Iowa. They're at Ohio State because I think they're in the same division as Ohio State. They just want to cause Rutgers pain and misery, don't they? Yeah, Maryland and Rutgers are in the same division as Ohio State and Michigan, that's just
tough. That's
just not fair. Then they get Nebraska, they get Indiana, Minnesota, Michigan. Okay, this stretch right here from these four straight, that's pretty tough. At least they have two of them are on the road, two of them at home, but that's a pretty tough stretch. Minnesota, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State. Then they close at Maryland. Maryland won that game last year. I think it was both of them were 5 and 6. Whoever won the game was going to be bowl eligible. Maryland won, and then they curb stomped my VT. So that was fun.
I could honestly, with looking at that schedule, I could honestly see Rutgers going 0-12.
You think they're going to lose to Wagner?
No,
I think they could lose. They could lose to Temple, Wagner. I mean, I'll give them. We should what?
We should do that thing that the Harris Highlights show does every year for Rutgers. What's the over/under? And then
I mean we'll do that. We can do that for each conference. We'll just
I'm saying just as a funny a bet, just how many wins we think Rutgers will have, and just be like, oh my God, guys, Rutgers actually has 3 wins.
No, but I think that's something we can do when we get closer to the season is just do over/under for what the Vegas odds for over/under for all the Power 5 teams and some prominent Game of 5 or Group of 5 teams are. Do over/under wins and stuff. That we can do that later. What's up, Josh? Glad you're here.
Lucas driving again? No, he left us for the girl. He left us for his girlfriend.
He left us for the. I'm not gonna say the word. Okay, so we got. we have Rutgers. Let's see. Northwestern.
I think we can agree though. Rutgers goes 1-11 at least with that. Maybe 3 and.
Jeez,
9.
This website is not very good. Okay, that's.
What the heck is that?
What?
Those all links?
Yeah, it did look weird. So, that's kind of cool. Northwestern plays Nebraska in Ireland in Dublin. In Dublin. Aviva.
Really?
That's what Notre Dame and Navy were supposed to play each other at this same stadium in 2020.
Yeah.
And my family and I were seriously contemplating flying over there for the game. Okay, why is it still showing the links? What the hell's going on?
See, I'm with you, Josh. Rutgers, 3 wins. That's a good season.
Okay, it's because I did the tabs here. Let me just do the whole screen. It's gonna look really weird, but I'm gonna see ourselves. There you go. That'll be better.
Oh God.
There we go. That better?
Yes, it looks a lot better.
Okay, so they play Nebraska. Oops.
That's a loss.
This is the same stadium. Like I said, Navy, Notre Dame was supposed to play each other there back in I think 2020. They get Duke at home. Oh God, that's gonna be. Oh, sorry.
That'll be Tank Bowl of college football.
Northwestern Duke.
Yes, it'll be like, I guess whoever wins, so I can say at least they're the better academic school when it comes to football.
Oh man, Duke should just join the. Duke should just be like it should just be like Stanford. Like they should both just join the Ivy League at this point for football.
Duke should just go to the FCS and play football against Gonzaga.
because then we'll see that matchup, and then we'll see them play each other every year in basketball, and then we'd actually like that matchup. Southern Illinois, the Salukis. Miami, Ohio.
Quick side note about the Salukis, really quick. Mm-hmm. They were the Missouri Valley Conference champions last year in the FCS, so that could be a loss.
Miami, Ohio, that could be a loss. Penn State, Wisconsin, Maryland, at Iowa, Ohio State, Minnesota, Purdue, and defending Illini. Let's take a look at Nebraska real quick. Northwestern, this is North Dakota. Oh God, no, that's just North Dakota, not North Dakota State. Georgia Southern, Oklahoma, Indiana, Rutgers, Purdue. That's kind of somewhat depending on how Aiden O'Connell does, but that's kind of an easier stretch there. But that's a brutal 3-game stretch right there to end it. Michigan, Wisconsin, at Iowa. That's a brutal 3-game stretch to end it for Nebraska.
No, that wasn't a cold snack, Josh. It was my cat popping open a can of chicken noodle soup. So I wish.
Wait, she opened the can or she jumped on the can?
She opened the can. She pulled it with her teeth.
There's something I can say that's really, really bad, but I'm not gonna say it. I think you can kind of imagine what I don't want to say.
We gotta keep it PG for the viewers. We gotta keep it PG for the kids and the W energy.
Oh, so I mean, we did. So I guess we can talk about that. So what happened with the other thing? Has that gone through?
It has. But I just didn't know if you guys wanted to do.
We can hold off for a little bit. Yeah, no, we can figure it out. I like it, but we can talk about it more off screen.
But so with the Nebraska schedule, well, first of all, Northwestern, I could easily see them going 3-9, 4-8.
Nebraska?
No, Northwestern.
Oh.
I'm surprisingly kind of on the Nebraska hype train when it comes to this season.
They get lucky. They get a break after Oklahoma. They get 2 byes. But I mean, they should be I think 3-0 going into the game at Oklahoma. They get Oklahoma at home too. Then they get a really somewhat easy 3-game stretch. Indiana at Rutgers, at Purdue, maybe Purdue. Knowing Purdue, they'll lose because Nebraska probably won't be ranked because Nebraska will somehow get destroyed by Oklahoma and
somehow Purdue will be ranked going into that game
and they'll lose
somehow. Yeah.
If it's a top 5 team, Purdue wins. If Purdue's ranked, they lose.
I think
the 3 games that will be most important are those last 3 at the end to really see where Nebraska really stands. Because even if they're, even if they have 2 or 3 losses going in that, if they lose more than 1 or 2, if they lose all 3 of these games, that's a big disappointment. If they lose one of them, that's fine. But I think at the very least they need to win this Wisconsin game. It's understandable to lose Michigan and Iowa, but
I will say if you go back to the top of the schedule, what we've seen in past years with this Nebraska team, I can very easily see them somehow blowing out Northwestern, losing to North Dakota, who's actually really good. beating Georgia Southern, and then somehow beating Oklahoma, and then losing to Indiana.
Keeping it close to Oklahoma.
Yeah, keeping it close to Oklahoma, and then losing 2 straight to Indiana, Rutgers, or Purdue. So
I mean, under Scott Frost, that's probably how.
That's what happens.
Honestly. That's really how it would go. I mean, it was similar to that, but there was something else I wanted to say.
Oh my God!
That P wanted the C. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, so of these 3, do we think it'll be Rutgers? Will it be Rutgers? Probably.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
yeah.
I pulled up. What about Maryland?
Maryland, I think, because Talia is still there, right? Talia Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. I mean, he was good. I mean, he actually led the conference in passing yards per game, I think, last year. He was and he set a team record or program record for passing yards in a per. What did he do? He set a few records. So, records.
See, can I just say, why every year when Maryland plays football, do they get 3 easy games where they'll score 50 points, and then they have to play Ohio State or Michigan State or Michigan?
Well, I mean, they get Buffalo, they get they play at Charlotte. That's really weird. And they get a potentially good SMU team at home. Then they go on the road. Oh my God! And then they go on the road to Michigan. They get Michigan State at home. They get Purdue at home. They're at Indiana, Northwestern at home, and then that's brutal. Wisconsin, at Penn State, Ohio State, and then Rutgers. Okay, I'm gonna be generous. Win. Maybe a loss. Win.
What do you think about SMU though? Tanner Mordecai still there?
That's why I said loss.
Oh, I thought you meant Michigan.
So 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, maybe 3-3, 4-3, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 5-6, 6-6. Same record as last year, I think. And then they're going 6-6. They might. I don't think they're going to be able to pull an upset on any of these teams right here. Now, I mean, Maryland. I mean, they came close that one year against Ohio State when Anthony McFarland went nuts in that game, ran 300 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Here it is. He said So this is Tualia, broke the single season completion record. I think for a program, single season passing yards record. Tied the record for a single season touchdowns record in the bowl game. So he said, 32, here it is, 7-6, 328 of 474 for 69 percent completion, nearly 4,000 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. That's really efficient. I mean, I think he led the conference in passing yards. There was up there. I mean, that's 13 games. That's over, 3. That's close to probably 300. That's nearly 300 yards passing a game, I think. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think they'll go 6-6. They might be able to pull something off if Maryland, they've been getting some more fans and stuff, and they can be difficult when they do have a good enough crowd there. I remember being there one time when they played Miami, and it was a night game, and they blew out Miami by it was 30-14 or something. This was that in 2005 or 6, with Ralph Friedgen as the head coach. So back when Maryland was actually really good in football. But when they have a crowd there, they can be pretty loud. They do have. I mean, they do have. At least they don't have to face Michigan State and Ohio State on the road. They make it to where you're not facing Michigan State, Wisconsin, Penn State, and Ohio State all on the road. They would just be nuts, and that would totally unfair.
I just kind of want to know, can you go back from the last 3 seasons and see how many times Maryland started the season 2-0 or 3-0. Because it just seems like, and I don't know why.
Every year. Okay, let's go back all the way to 2015. Okay, so
They started 2-1.
Lost to Bowling Green. They beat. Okay, so that's 2015, 3-9. Wait, was that the first year they were in the Big Ten? No, this is the first year I think they were in the Big Ten. They went 7-6, not bad. So 2016. Sorry, 4 now.
And then they got beat by Penn State, and it wasn't close.
Beat Michigan State, and then they lost 4 straight. Oh my God, look at that, 62-3. Beat Rutgers. They went 6-7, and that season should have probably been a lot better for them. 2-0, lost to UCF. Oh, this is UCF's undefeated season, so that's why. Beat Minnesota. Okay. Oh my God, 66-3 versus Penn State at home to close the season. Jeez.
Oof.
Oh no, that's the year. Wait, is that Texas? Oh, this is the year. Those were the 2 years they both beat Texas. 2017 and 18 is when they played Texas. And then this was the year DJ Durkin got fired because the player died before the season.
Oh yeah.
So they played Texas. They win. Bowling Green. They lose to Temple. Beat Minnesota pretty handily. Lose to Michigan. Beat Rutgers. Beat the Illini. Jeez. And then 5-7 lost. Lost a heartbreaker to Indiana. Oh, this is the game right here. Ohio State. Look at that. That's the one. Anthony McFarland. They went nuts in overtime. They missed the 2-point conversion in overtime. They went for the win and lost. If they won that game, that would have gotten them 6 wins and it would have knocked Ohio State out of the playoff. I don't think they were in the playoff that year anyway. Would have destroyed Ohio State's chances. Yep, 2-0 again.
Oh God, they beat the Bison 79-0.
Beat Syracuse.
Hey, what's up with them losing to Temple?
I mean, that's the second time we've seen them lose to Temple.
I think that's the 3rd time.
I don't know. And then this is the short and really weird season.
I just remember that season. The Minnesota Penn State, they lost to Northwestern, and then they won those 2 games against
2018 and 19,
whatever one, the 2020 season. They lost that.
Oh yeah, they beat Minnesota. Yeah,
do you remember how much hype was surrounding that Ohio State game just for it to get canceled?
Oh yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah, there was a lot of hype because people were like, "Oh, they beat Penn State, interesting." And then Penn State crapped the bed that year, but no one holds it against them that much. But I mean, and then they lost to Rutgers. Oh God. So yeah, I don't know. I think they'll. Oh, Jeremy, what's up, dude? Remember Jade Lane? Nice to meet you, Jeremy. I don't think we've ever seen him in here before. So yeah, so we got.
Oh, I know who that is. That's Juice. It's Juice. He switched his name.
So championship. We'll switch it around. Okay. Okay. Really, the question is, of these 3 teams, Michigan, Ohio State, or Michigan State, at least these top 4 teams in the East, who will make it? Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State.
And the championship game?
Yeah, just in the championship game.
Ohio State.
You go to Ohio State? Yeah.
My second pick would probably be Penn State because Michigan State, their offense is butt cheeks without Kenneth Walker. They have that really good receiver. I can't remember his name, but I had him on the freaking thumbnail, who's supposed to be really good. But, I mean, their whole offense last year was Kenneth Walker, and their quarterback last year was at best.
Michigan or Michigan
State. And Michigan, I'm not too sold on. They lost basically everybody on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a lot of people, and I'm not bought into the Cade McNamara. Like he's this great quarterback.
I hated the fact they would bring him in. They run. Wait, was he the running or the passing?
No, he was the starting quarterback that they would take out and then put the runner in.
Right, that's where I was. And then the running would he fumbled twice against Michigan State, and gave the game away to Michigan State in that game, pretty much. Sorry. I'm getting all my notifications right now. Sorry. So this is Penn State at Purdue, Ohio, at Auburn. That'll be a good game, week 3. I like how there's good non-conference games even up until like week 3 and week 4 during the season, right? I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. Sometimes I do.
Can we
feel
talk
like,
about the fact that Sean Clifford? Can we talk about the fact that Sean Clifford is still the quarterback at Penn State?
dude, he's. So
I feel like
bad.
that man's been the quarterback there for like 6 years.
Dude, Sean Clifford sucks. Like,
you remember like last year? Was it Kirk Herbstreit said he was like one of his Heisman, like preseason Heisman favorites? And it's like
he had less yards and less touchdowns than Tagovailoa. Had 8 points completion percentage less. You know, like here it is. Like here's the Michigan game. Barely completed half of his passes for not even 200 yards. That's terrible. But I mean, that's Michigan's defense is pretty good, so that makes sense. Even against Maryland actually is pretty good, 364. But and then where's the what game was it? Here it is. The Illinois 9 overtime game. 19 of 34, 165, 1 touchdown. That's terrible. And then look at that. That's even worse in losing to Iowa the week before. Started at 5-0. Jeez. And then they just kind of fell off. What was that? 7-6 they went? I don't know. I'm not buying into Penn State just because they still have Clifford and he's just not good. He's one of the worst.
It's just like he's one of those guys that like every year everybody tries hyping up to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And then he'll have like that. Like last year, he had a decent game against Auburn. But of course, that was against no Knicks. So I guess that's not really saying much.
No, it's not.
Because I'm pretty sure Sean Clifford that game tried out Nixing no Knicks. And it just so happened that it worked in their favor. But the only reason
Clifford instead of Sean Clifford.
The only reason I like Penn State this year is because the running back Noah Kane, who is pretty good. And I just think that Michigan and Michigan State are going to have a down year this year. I don't know. I just don't think they're going to be that good this year.
No, there's Michigan. Here's Michigan State, and then I'll open Ohio State as well. So this is Michigan, Colorado. Look at this. They opened the first 4 games of the season all at home. Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn, Maryland. That's probably 4-0 right there. They play 7 games at home. No. Yeah, they play 7 games at home. They only have 5 road games the entire season for Michigan.
That Maryland game could be.
Well, we'll see. Well, that's their home. That's Michigan's homecoming right there. HC. I don't know. That's Michigan.
I guarantee that
Maryland
Michigan game will be ranked like number 23, 24, 25. Oh my god.
Yo,
Lucas has joined us.
Lucas is back. He's not dead.
I'm not. I'm currently on a 5-hour road trip to Brandy's grandparents' house.
So you're just sitting on the side of the road right now, or is she
No.
driving while you're talking?
No, we're at her parents' house, which is roughly 2 hours out from her grandparents' place.
So her parents act as the way station for you guys to stop at.
Yeah, we're dropping off the dogs here, so they're gonna have the dogs for the weekend.
Oh, so we're not gonna hear the dogs barking?
Yeah, we won't have to listen to that. Okay, what is your opinion? Who do you have winning the East Division between Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, and Michigan?
Were
you the one that was high on Michigan all year
Yes.
long? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, are you riding them again?
No, I'm not. I think Ohio State is the clear favorite. I like Michigan because I just like Michigan. I always have. But Ohio State is like they reloaded completely everybody, and they just got like 17 5-star wide receivers. So
Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith, and Jigba.
Yeah, their offense is going to be just absolutely nuts. So, and then obviously Travion Henderson at running back, like he's a Heisman.
I forgot they have Henderson. I forgot about that too.
They're going to be crazy.
So, Lucas, what do you, if it's not Ohio State? I mean, what do you think about Penn State, Michigan State, Michigan?
I think it's Michigan. I think it's going to end up being Michigan still because they didn't really lose too much. I mean, obviously Hutchinson and then that other defensive end, I can't remember his name. So they lose a little bit on defense, but their offense is pretty much all coming back. I'm pretty sure McNamara is coming back. If not, the other kid, McCarthy or however you say his last name.
From this angle with the goatee, with like the hair you have down here, you look like Kyle Schwarber. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult, but you look exactly like him right now.
Dude, I'll take it. I'll take his money too.
I've been told a friend of mine said I look like Luke Kuechly from the Panthers. That he literally
a little bit like Kuechly.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly. He says that he literally posted a photo of me on Twitter back in like 2015 of a picture of Luke next to me, and I was like, yeah, we kind of look like brothers. It was really weird.
That's awesome.
So Lucas, what we were talking about it earlier. Who's the worst team in the Big Ten?
Will it be Rutgers again? Or because it was actually North. Was it no? It was the Northwestern.
I think next year, to me, I think it's going to be Indiana. I don't think they're going to be very good. I don't even know who they've gotten. I don't think they're reloading a lot of guys. I don't see them being very good. I actually do see Rutgers 7, 8, maybe a 9-win team this next season.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Here's Rutgers. Okay, at Boston College, they play the Bobby Wagner Seahawks at home. At Temple, Iowa at home. At Ohio State, Nebraska. Indiana at home. At Minnesota, Michigan at home. At Michigan State, Penn State at home. At Maryland. So they're home away, home away, home away. Actually, the entire season I just noticed is away, home, away, home. They don't have a single back-to-back game on the road or at home.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably good to stay consistent like that. But go back up to the top. So if I'm walking through this, I see a win against Boston College. I don't know. I'm not as high on Boston College as Ryan is.
With Phil Jakovic too?
Yeah. I just don't think they're that crazy. Okay. I see obviously 2 wins there, obviously over Wagner. I see him beating Temple because a lot of Temple transfer.
That they lost Jaden Blue to Virginia Tech. If you just showed me that, I would think that was Alabama, not Temple, because it just has the number on the side. It just looks like Alabama for some reason.
So I see them beating Temple. I could see them beating a ranked Iowa. I don't think Iowa's going to be very good, so I think they're going to they'll be one of those teams that starts out ranked like.
Oh, I'm liking the spice. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, what happened?
Sorry.
I mean, I could still see Iowa winning 6 games and going to a bowl game, but I just don't think that they are going to be as good as what their ranking is going to be this start of the season.
Think they have the number 1 defense again?
No, not even close.
I mean, Iowa. I mean, they get South Dakota State to start the season. That's going to be tough, and they get Iowa State and then Nevada. That could be 2 straight losses to start the season if South Dakota State, plays as good as they usually do.
Yeah, but if we go back to the
Rutgers.
Rutgers. So at this point, I have them
4-0.
4-0.
Going into Ohio State, Rutgers is actually ranked inside the top 25.
Yeah, obviously Obviously I see Ohio State winning that. Probably I'd give them 17 points on Rutgers. That's how good I think Ohio State's going to be this year. So I give them 17 to 21 points on Rutgers. And then Nebraska, I think it'll be a really, really tough game. Depends on how good Casey Thompson is playing.
We honestly we're kind of we were both a little high in Nebraska, but I'm not sure how high we are.
I said their ceiling is like 9-3, and I think their floor is like 7-5 or 6-6.
I could see that. So for that game, I think it's a toss-up, but for sake of just players on the team, I think I'm gonna put Nebraska over Rutgers. So 4-2, they get their bye week, and then they play Indiana. Like I said, Indiana, I think they're the worst team. So Rutgers gets a win there, 5-2. Then they got Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota's going to be that great either. Not.
You got 6-2 heading into the game against Michigan.
Yes, and then I think that's going to be a really, really good game. I could see Rutgers winning, but I think I'm going to take Michigan in this one. Michigan State. I think Michigan State is ranked way too high.
I can agree with that.
I think Michigan State is ranked way too high, especially after losing by far their best player.
Walker.
With Walker. I know that they got one transfer. I can't remember where from, or two transfers. They got two transfers that are actually pretty good backs. But I still just don't think that they're all that great. So
They also have Lucas. They also do have who a lot of people are projecting is the second or maybe at worst third best receiver in the Big Ten. So
yeah, I think the top 5 best receivers in the Big Ten all play for the Buckeyes. Honestly, I just don't see very many guys competing with those dudes. Like they're gonna be nuts. So I got 7-3 Michigan State game. I could see them probably dropping to Penn State here after an emotional.
So you got an 8-4 because I think you would take them winning over Maryland at Maryland.
Yeah, I would. So 8-4 to end the season.
I gave them 6. I gave them 6-6. I could see realistically they could start 3-0 and then beat Indiana and maybe Minnesota and Maryland. I gave them as 5-6 heading into the game at Maryland.
I think that's reasonable.
I gotta get Lucas's opinion on Illinois, because Lucas, you were here earlier, but it's in my name. Illinois is winning the Natty this year. I don't know if you were told, but Chase Brown and those boys are going to be fighting.
The only thing I hope for is that you beat. The only thing I hope for is that you beat Virginia. If you lose to Virginia, I will. But you better beat Virginia and then lose to Chattanooga, because no one you gotta back the Mocs, dude.
I'm already calling it. Illinois is going to be 4-0 going into that Wisconsin game.
I don't think they win more than 6 games. I don't think they win more than 6 games.
They dodge Michigan State, Penn State, and Ohio State.
Are they bringing back Peters?
Yeah, Peters got a injury waiver because Brandon Peters.
Was he the quarterback that was okay at times and then sucked sometimes?
He was their best guy by far, but he kept getting hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, so he has an injury. He got an injury season, so he gets one more year this year.
And then they're not. So they're bringing back both their backs with Chase Brown and Epstein, which is funny.
Yep.
So this is. So you said Indiana will be the worst.
I do think they'll be the worst. I mean, they start out against Illinois. They'll probably get a win against Idaho. I think they lose to Western Kentucky.
They lose to Cincinnati.
Drop to Cincinnati, lose to Nebraska, Michigan. I think they could pull one away maybe against Maryland. Just all depends on how good Talia is.
Well, I was talking about Talia, set a bunch of Maryland passing records last year. And I think he could take a big step up.
Which, to be fair, couldn't be the hardest thing in the world.
Well, it's also. It also didn't help that he lost his second or even his best wide receiver to a torn ACL, so he's going to be coming back. He didn't transfer; he stayed. So they still have Raheem Jarrett, who's a 5-star recruit 2 or 3 years ago. So
he'll be good. And then they are losing Chig, who was probably their best tight end.
Maryland, yeah.
Which
I mean, they also did lose. Was it Fleet Davis, their running back? Maryland lost, but they've kind of been able to. Maryland's kind of been able to find some pretty good running backs over the years to kind of just run out of the blue, like Anthony McFarland I mentioned a few years ago or earlier.
So I'm going to give them a win over Maryland just because I think it's going to be a close game. I'll give them a win over Maryland. Lose to Rutgers. They lose to Penn State, get destroyed by Ohio State, and then Michigan and Purdue. I mean 2-10 I think is where I have Indiana.
Go back to Illinois schedule because I gotta hear what Lucas thinks for
that's Iowa.
Because their first part of the schedule is pretty easy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess I have them starting 3-1. I think they lose to Virginia.
They better not.
I think they will. I think they will.
I won't forgive you, Ryan. I will not forgive you if they lose to them. I will not.
To be fair, they are playing Virginia in Champaign, Illinois.
That would just make it worse if they lost.
To be fair, though, Champaign, Illinois is like one of the worst home field advantages.
Nobody's gonna go.
Lovie Smith isn't at Illinois anymore. Is
no,
he?
It's
Where is he?
They have a good coach. I like him.
Where did Lovie go?
Lovie's
Yeah, sorry. All right, so 3-1. Wisconsin, I think they lose that game. I think they lose to Iowa. They beat Minnesota, so they're at 4-3 there.
Yeah.
And then Nebraska, I could see them losing there. So 4-4.
4-5 Michigan State.
I could see them beating Michigan State. I could.
They've upset Michigan State a few times the last couple of years.
Yeah, I could see them beating Michigan State. So 5-4.
6-4 Purdue.
Yeah, I could see them beating Purdue 6-4, and then they finish it off 7-5.
Ooh,
because I don't see them losing.
Illinois.
I don't see them losing to Northwestern. So I don't know. I think it's going to be really between Northwestern and Indiana for the worst team. But I just think Indiana, they're losing way too much.
Okay, so we still have not gotten to the championship. So are we saying Ohio State coming out of the East? Who do we have coming out of the West? Iowa, Wisconsin,
Nebraska.
Do you think?
I think it's going to either be Nebraska or Wisconsin.
Okay. Do we all still think though that it's going to be Ohio State winning the conference though? Probably.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I don't think
Ohio State's going to win the Big Ten title.
They are currently, other than like when we'll get to the ACC or the SEC pod, I think Ohio State, other than maybe Alabama, are my like absolute locks for the playoff. I think they're like my number one. They're probably my number one lock for the playoff right now is Ohio State.
Nice.
So, who do you think? So you think Wisconsin, or do you?
I could see Wisconsin. It'll be between. Yeah. I could see Wisconsin.
With Graham Mertz still as their quarterback.
He's still there. I forgot about that. Oh my god. Okay. Biggest
what do you got, Connor?
Disappointment. I think for now, I just can't buy into Nebraska enough to put them there.
Too much of a surprise.
That would be too much of a surprise. I'm still leaning towards Iowa. Mm-hmm. As long as if the defense is at all similar, they should be fine.
Okay.
Graham Mertz just is too bad of a quarterback at times to carry Wisconsin.
Yeah, but they got a real good run game, man. They do have another really good run game.
Their running back is really good.
He is. I do got to get going, so I'm going to say my biggest surprise, I think, is going to end up being
Rutgers
Biggest-
going
Biggest
8-4.
surprise, good team. Yeah, I think it'll probably be Rutgers. My biggest disappointment, like I said earlier, I think it's either going to be Iowa or Michigan State. But I think I'm going to go with Iowa just because of where they're going to be ranked to start the year.
Before you go, Lucas, sleeper Heisman. Don't say C.J. Stroud because that's boring.
Sleeper Heisman.
Casey Johnson, Nebraska.
Yeah, right. No, I'm going to go with Blake Corum of Michigan.
Okay.
I think
Who's that?
he's going to have a really good year.
He's the running back.
Yeah, but Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, I think that he'll be the sleeper Heisman guy. And then I think the biggest disappointment player is going to end up being Michigan State's quarterback.
He was a disappointment last year.
Cade McNamara.
No, Michigan State's. It's like Pine or whatever. Isn't that his name?
It's like
it's not
No,
Pine.
that was the Notre Dame quarterback was Jack Pine.
Yeah, I can't remember what that guy's name was, but I think he's gonna have a down year after having actually a pretty good year and beating obviously Michigan.
But being carried by Kenneth Walker.
Right. Yeah.
But
Okay. We'll
right,
see
guys.
you around, Lucas. Glad
Yep.
you're here. At least join us at the end.
yeah, for sure.
You'll
See
be.
you guys.
We'll see you next week for the SEC at least, right?
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace. All right. So who do you got for your biggest potential disappointment this year?
I think I could see Michigan State, just like we were saying, the drop off we could see with Kenneth Walker not being there, and Haskins, the Haskins guy was that was Michigan, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Hassan Haskins. So yeah, I think it could be Michigan State in the East and maybe in the West. Even though they sucked last year, it still could be Nebraska just because we're all expecting them to take that leap and they haven't been able to. And that's just another form of disappointment right there. That's for me. Surprise would be Maryland finishing above 500 again for a second straight year. It's 7-6 or better if Tualia is able to keep at or continue the same level of production he had last year. Especially if he has probably his best wide receiver in DeMay Jones, I think.
Yeah.
Tore his ACL. So they have him. He has Akeem Jarrett.
Oh no, it's Demas.
Demas.
That's what it was. Yeah, Demas.
Yeah, DeMay Demas or Demas, something like that. I can't remember. It's one or the other. But he was probably their best wide receiver, and then Jarrett's kind of stepping into his own. So I think that could be a surprise. I would like to see that, honestly, since I'm from Maryland and stuff. And then another surprise at the same time, it also could be Nebraska itself. But I mean, that's just the way Nebraska is right now.
So my biggest potential disappointment based off of expectations, I could see Michigan having a fall off, but I'm not going to go them just because I think that they still have a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to go Michigan State as well. I think that their quarterback was really kind of exposed last year whenever Kenneth Walker, the few times that he was held in check, the Michigan State quarterback proved he could not win a game for Michigan State. So I'm going to go ahead and go Michigan State. And then for the biggest potential surprise, I'm going to go Illinois. I think they could easily go. They get Brandon Peters back, who at the beginning of the season was one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. He's just been really injury prone. So I think they could go easily 7-5, 8-4. And for Illinois, that's like a Super Bowl win for them. So give me the Illini for the biggest potential surprise.
I'm looking this up. I'm just going to look up what their record has been year by year. When was the last time
6-6? I think
the last time they actually had it, they actually had a true winning season. They were 7-6 in 2011. closest they came was 6-7 in 2014 and 2019.
Didn't they win the Kraft Bowl or something like that?
Fighting Hunger Bowl.
Yeah.
And then they went 7-6 the year before, won the Texas Bowl. 2017, that's when they win the Rose Bowl, 9-4. Ron Zook was their head coach.
I miss him, man. He was such a good coach. I don't know what happened with him in Illinois, but
Was 2019 the year Lovie Smith and they beat, was it Iowa, or they beat someone?
They beat Michigan State. Oh no, they beat Wisconsin. They beat Wisconsin that year.
Wisconsin,
and then
Wisconsin was like, wasn't Wisconsin like 3rd or 4th in the country?
Yeah, they had. That was the year they had the running back for the Colts.
Lovie had the big gray, half gray beard and stuff.
And who's the running back for the Colts right now?
Not Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor was there.
Oh, when he was on Wisconsin?
Yeah, that's the year they beat Wisconsin, was when they had Jack Cohn and Jack Cohn was the quarterback and Taylor was the.
Because 2020 is when Taylor was drafted, because he was a second year last year.
So
okay. I don't know. Okay, I mean, potential Heismans other than CJ Stroud, I don't really think there's going to be anybody else.
Jackson Smith and Njigba, but that's no fun.
Casey Thompson.
No, give me Hassan
Nebraska.
Haskins. Give me Hassan Haskins. The guy.
He's still there. He's still there.
Starting
Michigan.
running back. Yep.
Okay.
Who do you think? I mean, if it's going to be someone outside of CJ Stroud and Smith and Njigba, it's not going to be
Casey Thompson. I'm just going to keep saying
Casey
that. That's the only name I can think of. That's Nebraska, right? That's all I can think of. So, I mean, that's really it. I mean, there's nothing else that I can think of talking about. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. So next week we'll be back with the SEC. We're going to hold off on reading the W because we may or may not have a new sponsor there. That's a similar type of product. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do, if we're going to stick with them or not. So we'll let you guys know.
We are still, for right now, we are still sponsored by W. So feel free to go ahead and use the code week0 at w.gg for your 10% off your first order. Get you some W. It's good for any time of the day. Good for gaming if you're having long gaming, just gaming sessions. If you're going to get some workout sessions in. And then, as Lucas always says, it's good in your alcohol too. So if you just want to sit back, relax in the summer heat, have an ice cold glass of either whiskey, wine, beer, and mix it with some W.
Yep. And Josh, thank you for being here, Josh. Josh will be joining us next week for the SEC show.
He will.
He will. We're gonna hear him. We're gonna hear him go crazy and say Kentucky's going 12-0 and win the Natty. Probably.
Yes, go Wildcats. Also, we will just FYI for everybody watching, next Friday, along with Josh, we will be having a special guest on the show. I'll leave it at that. Recorded.
So it'll be a little awkward trying to dice that up, but it'll be fun.
But yeah, he's a big college football YouTuber on YouTube.
And that's not Blake.
It's not Blake.
Unfortunately, it's not Blake. Blake will be back. We'll like we said, we'll have Blake back for the conference realignment. We'll just have him blindfolded and we'll show him the he'll take the blindfold off and we'll keep showing him each of our different maps and stuff, and we'll just react. We'll just laugh at his face whenever he sees it. The conference realignments and stuff.
So Connor, tell everybody to go get some W, because why?
Because why not? I feel like we've stolen that. We've kind of stolen that, but
who cares?
It hasn't been copyrighted, so
it hasn't been trademarked.
No, it hasn't been copyrighted, trademarked, whatever. So we'll be back next week, guys. So let me remove the banner.
Oh.
What are you doing? For Ryan, Illinois, or the Illini are winning the Natty Fravel. I'm Connor Adolphus. Washington sucks. Doherty, coming to you from the basement in Virginia, in Maryland. This has been the Week 0 podcast. We will see you next Friday for the SEC predictions and 2 special guests. Peace.